Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. This is probably the longest time. I'm going to get right into it and bring Olli on. This is the longest we've tried to have a guest on the show because we've gone back and forth for a month, right?
Yeah.
It's been wild. So this is Olli43, and we've been wanting to get on the show and talk for a while, and it was always like scheduled things. And last week we were going to do it, but it was Father's Day, and you're a brand new father, and I was like, we are not doing it on Father's Day. So
I felt awful because I completely forgot. I am not used to saying I am busy on Father's Day,
yeah,
particularly. And then I was like, oh, uh-oh. And I was like, no, I'm not going to let SaltEMike down. Like, we've been trying for ages.
I was
And
like,
no.
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 You are not. This is the first Father's Day.
Yeah, no, thank
Did
you.
I
appreciate that.
It
was great. We went strawberry picking, actually, which is kind of cute. And it was nice. So we've been eating strawberries, and I'm kind of like hopped up on sugar now. But it's all good.
Nice. We have blueberry picking and raspberry picking where I grew up, but I've never gone strawberry picking. So
it was like
strawberries are my favorite.
Strawberry. And like
really?
A big old statue. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, that's cool. All right, so let's get into who you are, what you do, where you've come from, because for people who don't know, Olli's one of the biggest creators that have come into the platform from YouTube. I mean, you have a lot of subscribers in comparison to what most people are used to, right? So you've kind of come from a different path than most people have come from Star Citizen. A lot of people in the community came from it. So where'd you come from? What brought you here? And how'd you find Star Citizen? Your origin story, I guess.
So origin story, I've been doing YouTube for like over 10 years. So like I've been doing it since like 720p uploads was like acceptable, which was great. I miss those days.
Yeah.
And I've always like, I never did Star Citizen content, but I did occasionally, like I think I did a video back in like 2014. I'm like a YouTuber of like Call of Duty, GTA, and like variety content.
No, I did my research. I missed the video. I was gonna say your first video was April 2022, but I'm wrong.
No, you're totally wrong. It was like I'd have to look it up. It was like back in 2015. I bought the Phoenix, and it was like Star Citizen just allowed you to spawn on Port Olisar, and
2.0.
Like it was just cool. And actually, funnily enough, in that video, I quantumed. And when I came out of Quantum, I just blew up. And it was just the funniest thing ever. And then I didn't come back to Star Citizen for like 5 years.
And it still happens.
Yeah, no, it does still happen. So and I took a break from YouTube for like 2 months, I think, which is the longest time I've ever taken a break over that 10-year period. And I was looking through my back catalog and just thinking like, what do I enjoy? What was fun? And that Star Citizen video I did back then had a good amount of views. I remember enjoying it. I'm kind of into space games. My bedroom when I was a kid was like space themed. So I've always been a bit of a space nerd. So I was like, I'm going to check out Star Citizen. It'd be fun to revisit. And like since then, 200 videos just knee deep in Star Citizen.
There's like 2 or 3 non-Star Citizen videos since, pretty much, is what I've noticed. Yeah, it's wild. Like I rewatched a lot. I rewatched the first video and went back and looked at a lot of things, and it was
How do those videos hold up to now? Was I completely just unaware of like Star Citizen?
No,
so like now I talk about Star Citizen as if I know it. Like it's like a language, you just know every in and out. Like where to tiptoe around Star Citizen.
Sure.
And like back then, it was just like, wow, screenshot. Damn. Yeah. I mean, I still do that, but like,
of course. But no, you were just like feeling the game out and was like excited about everything, which is natural, right? When you first get there. But it was cool just to, and then the like obviously the community was like super welcoming and open arms and stuff like that, which is
I found that super surprising. Like I didn't know if the video was going to do well on my channel.
Yeah.
And I think the really striking thing was that like Star Citizen viewers found it enjoyable, even though I was completely unaware of how 80% of the game worked.
That's their favorite.
I found it.
They love it.
Exactly. I just found it really kind of welcoming and like warm. Like I'm a bumbling YouTuber trying to work out how their main game works. And it's cute that he still doesn't know how quantum works, that sort of thing. I just found it super nice. And I think Star Citizen community gets flack sometimes for being like really controversial at times and things like that. But actually, I wouldn't be making videos if they weren't like actually most of the time really welcoming to new players. I think that's something people overlook at times, is that actually there's no other game that's so welcoming. Like
I think that is the Star Citizens community, their strongest point. If anybody's coming from other games, they just open their arms and are like, "This is how you do things. Want to see my big ship?" Like, and they're like, "Oh, come join my turret." They're dying for people to play with them, right? And just share what their passion with people. So yeah, especially another thing they love is when somebody that, because again, everybody that's in the Star Citizen space and that has been is relatively small. When somebody comes in that's like, ooh, look at this big YouTuber or look at this big streamer, they get so excited too, because it also validates the game to them. I think is like somebody who's big wants to play it. That means the game is good. I think that's like kind of what they're thinking there too. And I kind of putting a negative on that, but I don't intend it to be there.
It's kind of like buyer's confirmation. I've spent thousands on concept ships, and it's nice that someone else enjoys it.
Yes, and it's not even just. I think it's nice that somebody else enjoys the thing that I enjoy. That a lot of people says is not enjoyable, right?
Yeah,
And
I think the number one comment or theme in those early videos was like, it's so refreshing. Like I remember looking at Star Citizen in this way. Like, wow, that's so impressive, or this is so cool. And I think a lot of people just got reminded of how they first found Star Citizen and got into it.
Yes.
I think I'm feeling a little bit of it now. I guess we'll talk about that later at some point. But like, Star Citizen, I feel like has a journey at the moment. And I feel like it was really refreshing for people to see someone enjoying the game in such a positive light. And like, I've had people say, are you overly positive for the video? And I just like, no, I just appreciate cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just a positive person. Like,
everybody's different. We recently had somebody on, Croncy, who streams, make YouTube videos from Australia. Super good guy. And we were just talking about how I'm a very I'm glass half empty. My first job was in a casino. Everybody's negative. That's who I've become, like, through socialization or whatever, right? And he is not. Like, we can look at the same thing in two totally different ways, and that's fine. Like, I don't look at somebody who's more positive negatively, like, oh, look at that weirdo, it's just like, okay, I don't know how sometimes, but
I don't see the train of thought, but
I'm happy you enjoy things. I'm not gonna shit on you for that or whatever, right? I'm sorry. I don't know why. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. It's my computer's being super weird and giving me some errors, and people are saying it's buffering, but I think I can manage it with us here pretty easily. But the thing I was going to ask you, and you said you were thinking about getting into, was how you first got into it. I mean, you said in 2.0, but is there more of a story? How did you find out about Star Citizen? That's something people like to know as well. Is their real origin?
Honestly, I'd like to say I found the Kickstarter page or something. I must have kickstarted Star Citizen. I think I got the Gamma, the Mustang Gamma, and I thought, but the Phoenix looks cool, and I kind of love the idea of a cool ship, like. And I miss so much the persistent hangars of all these ships laid out. I kind of love that. Yep. Like, it was cool just walking around. I think I had the white hangar. I don't remember what it's called. York hangar or something.
Yeah, the Revel in York
white hangar.
That's
the one. Yeah, yep. Revel in York. And I was just walking around that. I was just like, oh, this is cool. It's kind of like GTA in the fact it's like I got my 10-car garage and I've got all my ships laid out. And it was just cool to walk around. And then suddenly you could fly the ship. and that was awesome.
Yep. The idea of being able to like load all your ships in. This is what we used to do too when we stream. We would just like load all the ships in and we would just talk about like what we would do with it when we got
Hmm.
into the game. It was just like a year or 2 years of that. And it was so those were the days. It was so fun. And I remember somebody said way back then on like it was a comment on the old Wingman's Hangar videos.
Hmm.
He said it's going to be really sad when Star Citizen releases because we can't like do this stuff anymore. We can't talk about what it was going to because
Mm,
like that's still to this day a lot of what the community does is they talk about and think about what they're going to do when the game finishes. Right? I'm going to be a
yeah.
XYZ. Right? What
It's
are
kind
you
of
going to
like
be?
the journey sort of thing is like part
Yeah.
of the fun.
Wh-
Like fantasizing about what the game could be is almost part of the fun.
Sure. What are you gonna be? What was your what do you think your go to would be? Like
What in
miner,
Star
trader?
Citizen?
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it. I kind of really like space trucking, quite
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because like on paper it doesn't sound that interesting, but
It is
yeah,
though.
I just like the big ships, and I think there's something romantic about piloting or being part of a big ship,
Hmm.
taking cargo. I am so excited for the whole seed to finally get into the game, even though it's kind of a little bit weird how you load cargo and just poof, appears, but we'll get into that whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm so excited for like just being part of a big ship. I guess it's I don't know.
I
I'm
think
not
what's
really too interested in the small ship stuff, quite honestly.
this is same. I'm very much with you. Like cargo hauling was one of my favorite things. I haven't done it as much lately, um, just because the economy stuff it's getting better, but I'm
Mm,
just they keep talking about the cargo refactor and I'm like all right, I'll wait until those things come in and get excited. I've really been enjoying the salvage missions and taking cargo that way, but not as much just doing the general ones. But I think what's special about the big ships and cargo missions is it touches everything that's not combat, right? You're flying a ship, it's a big ship, it can and they feel heavy. You have to walk around
mm,
the inside, you see the hangar full of cargo, and then you have to get out too. So you're like in FPS. I think it touches everything so you get to feel Star Citizen in like this like really peaceful way.
mm.
Uh
Yeah, no, yeah.
that's what I like about it.
Yeah,
Um
I think we're the same. Although I will say I thought I'd be really into salvage, but honestly, the only part of salvage missions I like is the treasure hunting aspect of it. Like,
yeah.
is there going to be good loot? But the thing is, at the moment, finding good loot is like, it's it's not really like, is it going to amount to that much? Like, I'd love it if there was like a 0.1% chance of coming on an absolute gold mine of like, this is high valuable loot. What if you could find a ship and it was full of like quantum, and then suddenly it sends out a beacon to all the other players saying someone's found a quantum ship. Like, if you want to go
Whoa.
and grab it, like, how fun would that be? Like, then suddenly you're
It
being
sets off an
pushed into a.
alarm.
Yeah, exactly. How
That would
cool
be
gameplay would
sick.
that be?
That
So,
would be sick.
okay.
I know a little. I have a little bit more. Oh, he's telling me to keep my mouth shut. But the dev who made the salvage missions, or one of them, is here, and there's a bug, and he didn't fix it in time. It's they're
You
supposed
have
to
all the power.
they're supposed to be filled with a lot more cargo than we have now. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So it's just like it feels disappointing now, but it was never supposed to be.
I feel why is that like something that they don't want to share?
No, he's memeing. He's kidding around.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's not actually what it's meant to be?
What we have now is not what it's meant to be. He was telling me to not say anything jokingly. But
Oh, I see.
the it's just a bug and he's just embarrassed that he didn't fix it, I think.
So,
He's the worst dev at the company. 2 years running. They have an award.
oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's won it.
Okay.
It's Elliot, the guy who does the mission stuff if you watch
So
ISC.
so why do they not mention that? Or are
They,
they going to
he
mention it when it
he
gets fixed?
he has, but I guess I don't know. This is I share your frustrations here, right? He's posted on Reddit about it, and it's
Okay,
there.
I don't go on Reddit personally,
Exactly.
but
Neither do I, right? So I know through just having a good relationship with him and him typing it in my Twitch chat. But not every dev types on Spectrum, and then not every like I think he prefers to communicate on Reddit. And it's like
mm,
I think the community team has a really hard time with how do they gather that info, how do they communicate it with all still doing the job that they're doing at the same time, right? Cuz right when you say why didn't they share that? Like that's I have that
I
same
mean, it doesn't
sentiment
really
with
matter,
things.
quite honestly. But it's just like the idea. Like I said, what
It
I
would
was
be good to
hoping to
know.
find in that, like, yeah, I would have been like, okay, cool, I'll check it out later. That's exciting.
Yep.
But yeah, the idea of stumbling upon like a massive loot pile and then it's sending out an alarm,
That I
like,
like.
come on, Elliot, make it happen. Like,
There you go.
I think it's a cool idea.
I think that is a cool idea. They have a lot of pieces to that puzzle, right?
Mm,
The trip mines. Instead of blowing you up, what if it
they
just
blow up
triggers an
the entire
alarm?
ship. Oh
What if,
yeah, that as well.
right?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
But I feel like they've got all the building blocks there, and I think things like that, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
I
There
hate
and there
saying that because it triggers people, but
it does, right? And I don't think I didn't know. I actually didn't know that you've been around since 2014. So I feel like now
I
all
mean,
my research that I've done. I mean,
I
it doesn't
haven't
matter.
really though.
It doesn't matter. Like you knew about it and you probably
Mm,
checked in here and there, right? So it's like
yeah.
you're there because anybody the game is not necessarily meant to be played regularly right now. So if people check it out and
Mm,
bought it like you've been around, I consider you being around, right? So the
mm,
people that get mad when you say it'll just take a bit of time are the people that are like, it's been 10 years, you've only been around for a year, what do you know, right? And like
mm,
those kind of people. Um,
yeah.
and I mean, if you look at the pace in which we got things in 2014 versus the pace in which things are being added to the game now, it's insanely different, right? So you
Yeah, I
kind
was
of
gonna
can
ask
say
you
it's
that.
just going
It's
to be a bit of
like,
time.
yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Like, for me, since I started playing a year ago, the game is even from that video in April has changed so much. We've
Yeah.
had so much added.
Hmm.
Um, so like, how does that compare to like prior, like,
It's
you know,
insane.
from 3.0? Like,
Yeah.
for me personally, the game has changed so much. Like at times, I can't keep up with the amount of content going into the game.
Hmm.
It's super frustrating at times because I just want to make a video on a salvage mission and I keep getting 30k'd and I have to
Hmm.
restart the video, or I want to make it a nice coherent story.
Yep.
And like, I don't want to post video. Like people say, I completely off a tangent now, but people say to me, why does it not crash in your videos? Because I don't want to upload a video of me complaining about 30k's because it's not interesting.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I
what I'm
like
here
uploading
for.
videos where, yeah, exactly. People leave it to SaltEMike. I don't want to make videos of me moaning about the game because it's not interesting when I'm playing it. You know, it's different
Yeah.
when you have commentary on how the game development is going. But like when
Yeah.
you're trying to make an interesting, entertaining video, that's not what the content I want to put out. So
Yeah. I say the same thing when I completely forgot this Saturday, but at minimum every Saturday, my org gets together and we try to do something together. And one of like the rules is like, yes, if something happens, don't bitch and complain about it because we're all here trying to have a good time here.
mm,
We can complain about it later, whatever. But while we're all playing together, we're trying to have fun. Like
mm,
let's just have fun. We know things are gonna happen. Let's just get over the hump and try and play the game.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes it is not a great experience, right? Like there's tons of problems with the game, but it doesn't mean that you can't try to have a good time with it. And there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with trying to have a good time with it. All right. And yeah, of course, when you make a YouTube video, it's not an interesting thing when it's like, oh, I 30k'd again, right?
Well, also, I don't want to waste people's time. Like,
Yeah,
if someone sits through a 10-minute video of me collecting cargo and I travel across Stanton and then at 30k's, it's like, what was the point of me watching you get the cargo up to that point?
exactly.
I want to see you deliver it, you know,
Yeah,
or see how much the payout is. So
exactly.
I try my best to, you know, make a good story in videos. It's not always easy at the moment, especially the 318. It was tough, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that was sort of one of the things I wanted to touch on with you is you've been making videos for a little over a year now, and you tweeted a couple days ago
I
about
did. I was surprised at how much of a reaction it got, honestly.
Well, I think everybody waits for the what is it called? The honeymoon phase to end with creators in this community. And I don't think it's ended for you or anything, or you look at it that way at all. But I was like, oh, so he's kind of just like the first thing I was like, oh, there it is, right? Like it was like, all right, it's tough. It's tough to make videos. It's tough to make content in this game consistently for a long time, and you've been super consistent. How do you feel now, and like why did you make that tweet? I guess.
I didn't really think about the tweet. I probably should think about tweeting stuff a bit more, but it's just really off the cuff. I think 318 was like, for me personally, was incredible for content and views. It did really well. People wondering, I tweeted out that I'm looking for a different game and I'm a bit tired of Star Citizen, essentially is what the tweet came to. But it was just a case of like 318, I really wanted to get good content on. Persistent energy streaming, massive change to the game. I thought it was super exciting. And I dealt with daily recording videos and then things breaking, or like I said to you, like, I can't get this video out and I've spent an hour trying to record it and now I'm going to have to try and record it again and it sucks. And I don't want to be negative because I'm grumpy that something in development is broken, because I just don't, it's just not, people don't come to my channel for negativity, I don't think. They come to me because I don't know, I enjoy
it. At least people think so.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I don't know. I don't want to trap myself into Star Citizen. I haven't been a Star Citizen content creator for 10 years. I've been a Star Citizen creator for like 10% of my YouTube career. Yeah. So like for me, I've like enjoyed Star Citizen, and I'm not saying I'm going to stop making videos. Like I said to you before, I'm super hyped for the whole sea. There's a lot of good stuff coming, but like in that period before it comes out, I'm just looking for something refreshing. And I was just asking for ideas.
We didn't. Star Citizen isn't our first game. We've all played video. We like to play video games. Like, imagine that, right? Imagine wanting to play another video game. I mean, that was my first thought was, there it is. The honeymoon phase is over, because it happened with Level Cap. Burks is a different example where he came up and then eventually he hated me. You know who Burks is, right? He hated me. He's like, why is this guy so upset all the time? And then he started playing it more regularly and trying to make content for it. And he was like, oh, yes, it can be frustrating. I understand.
I actually don't think you're that negative. I actually think you're very well reasoned. You always say this, and
I'm just an asshole.
No, I don't think that either. I just think you look at it realistic. I think you're actually very, very level-headed for a lot of things, and I don't see you as a negative Star Citizen content creator. I try to be more balanced, or I just try to say how I feel. But the difference is I've been around for a while, and there was a time where I was really unhappy with the game, but that time has kind of passed, because you've mellowed out in time.
No, it was actually, I was just screaming from the rooftops to get some of the things that we have in the game now. Looting players, inventory, like these are just like the most basic things for a video game that we didn't have. And everybody's like excited for the next ship, or excited for the next planet, or all these things to me that I was like, this isn't the video game that I bought. That may be the things that you're excited for, but I'm excited for these things, and nobody's talking about them and nobody cares about them. Why? And I'm just like, losing it about that.
So are you less mad now because it's better?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
And I'm less mad now because not only is it better, but it's better in the way that I am excited about. Right? Like when they make the mining changes, or they improve the inventory, or whatever, right? Those things, I'm like, yeah, how can I not? I would be the most ridiculous human being if I was arguing and screaming from the rooftops to get these things and then be mad still when I got them. right? Like
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah, yeah.
commenters wish I still was for whatever reason, but that's
Mm,
just not the case. You know, it's just like how you would. I'm not an actor. I'm just a human being that like these are just how I feel. So yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was weird. Same way that you're like I just like to look at things positively, right? I
Yeah.
just want my damn game the way I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, the economy stuff, I know that you really want to get in,
Yeah,
and I feel like that has been talked. The problem is they talk about it and then it doesn't come. And I think it's fine to talk about it when it's close to being ready. And I
yep,
just feel like that, like, I totally agree with that aspect of Star Citizen. And I think they've got a lot better at not doing that, not
yeah,
talking about stuff until it's a lot closer to coming out. Um, but yeah, early days, obviously, like I saw your recent video on the economy and like looking back at, clips and stuff. And it was like, for me, who never watched those clips, who never like originally saw that content, I was like, huh,
that was
all right.
shock. Did you see the shock on my? I didn't remember how crazy it was.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
definitely.
shocked at the things that I was hearing because I was like, wow, they really said that.
Y- Yeah, you don't remember hearing it, but then you look
Yeah,
back and you're like, wow, I was promised all this stuff. I'm sure
yeah,
it's coming. The thing is, I don't doubt it's coming. Like, I think people, like, it's not here, so it's never coming attitude. But it
no.
is, it's just not here yet.
I
So,
think I take the slightly different attitude. Is I look at Star Citizen as it's so ambitious that they're
mm,
trying to do it still, but they have yet to prove that they can. And everything that they're doing is trying to prove that they can make Star Citizen because they haven't proved it to the backers or the gaming audience. You know, the server meshing thing, this economy thing. These are like the major features that they really sold the game to people on, and they're special. They're different from other games, and a lot of games
mm,
don't do that stuff. So for me, that's what it is. It's not that it's coming. It's I know that it is something that they're trying. Nobody
mm,
can doubt that they've been trying to get server meshing,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Just because it hasn't come doesn't mean that they haven't been trying.
yeah. And it's
That's the
kind of
part
like
I
I
don't
said
get.
with the missions and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
now that they're building the tools to build these missions, I feel like they'll come through a lot more, Elliot. And I and you can see like the missions like Salvage was such a big change. Like I feel like they drastically changed mining and it's so much more enjoyable in a group now. And um like the amount of change and they just dropped mining. I feel like they could have done like 3 Inside Star Citizens on the mining changes, but they didn't. They just like, there you go. That was so
Everything.
cool.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone in Star Citizen was just like, man, we got to get out in the field. We got to find out what's working. And that was really cool. Like Excel spreadsheets everywhere. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is, and this is when I really got excited and started to see the comments about like, oh, he's so positive. I don't understand. The was around the mining changes is they
Mm,
didn't even just make a change for the present. They made the change in preparation for the future and more of like what a 1.0 future would look like. And I was like,
mm.
whoa, like that was like, it just hit me in the face. And I was like, holy shit. Like this is, they've never done anything like this before. And I was just so happy to see that. Is like, wow, they're really thinking about the game and not the next patch and how can we just like make this look cool and be interesting for a few weeks for people, right?
Mm.
Is a lot of the tier zero. Like, let's just get it in. This wasn't let's just get it in. Let's get it in and let's have it mean something. I was so excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Although sad that you can't go quantum solo mining anymore.
you
Those
can.
days are over.
You
Oh, no,
can.
you can't. No.
Yeah, you can. I've done it.
You just, it takes like 4 hours to find any quantum. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot.
No,
Like,
it is, and that is my only gripe with that system.
mm,
It is very weird. You have the what is to be the crafting materials that are okay. You're gonna find copper on Daymar, right?
hmm.
But then Quantanium is just like speckled everywhere. It was a weird choice, and
I feel like gameplay wise, I'm giving all the ideas here. I feel like quantum should be in like one spot.
yep,
So like pirates know where people are gonna go mine quantum. It
You
should
know where
be in
that
one
spot
spot.
is? I think it's gonna be in Pyro.
You reckon?
I think
That would
so.
be.
Either that or
I hope
a
so.
similar material.
Mm.
Because then you got to bring it through a jump point, and they don't even have
I
to
just
know
feel like that
to
is
know
going
where
to
the
make it
quantum.
so much more interesting. Because now
Yeah.
you're talking, okay, I need escorts, or I need like, am I going to gamble? Like, am I going to take
Yep.
a whole C2 full of quantum through the jump point because it's worth more at Art Corp?
Do you play with other people a lot?
Not really. I've been trying to get into org stuff, but honestly, I'm so used to being solo tourist.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Star Citizen stats, like, they know different. But for me, I would guess 95 players when they play aren't in a party. Like, is my assumption.
100%.
You think
They're not.
you agree, or?
I agree 100%.
And
They're playing solo. Most players are playing solo.
yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So I feel like they need to, and I don't know what the solution to that is. Is that because there's not enough bigger ships? I don't think so.
No, I really feel like it's nothing matters,
Mm.
right? So everything, like a person, a C2 full of cargo, if that stuff mattered to them,
They bring friends.
They would bring friends, right?
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
did something with that ore, if you did something with the gold that you were, because that's like a big thing that they're trading,
Mm-hmm.
they would bring it with them, and they would bring players with them. And I think I really think crafting is the solution to the problem. And
Yeah.
and dude, this is like one of those things with me. I had bets with people that there would be crafting, and people like they're long gone from the community now. But
I love
bet
the
people that
crafting
there
stuff
wouldn't
they
be.
added.
Yeah,
I love the fact that they added the fact you can make your own multi-tool. I think bring more of that stuff on.
100%.
Allow me to like give me a crafting ship, like where I can build weapons and stuff, like where I can build a railgun. Let me put in iron from Daymar or whatever and build myself a railgun and sell them on my merchantman.
Yep. And the thing about that is, oh, the merchantman. The thing about that is, back in the day, around the time when you backed, there was like some people would ask about crafting, and he said, "No, we're not doing any crafting."
Do you reckon that's because he didn't want crafting, or because he didn't think it was a priority?
I don't
For a
know.
space
Well,
game.
I think he didn't think it was a priority for a space game. I think he had a vision of what the game was, and that vision was very, very simple. Like, I don't know if you've ever played Freelancer or Privateer or some of his older games. You really
Well, yeah. I've played them a long time ago, but yeah.
Okay. So you have played them in the past. I was gonna say if you've never played them, you have to, because it is so Freelancer especially. He was trying to make Star Citizen back then, right? And then I think that overall, people say that it taking 10 years is a bad thing. In some ways, I think it's been a good thing, because they've had the opportunity to see what other games do, what the community likes, and what they would want in Star Citizen, and have the opportunity to bring that in a way that is good for the game, and maybe not super game breaking. But it was never in those games. Like, trading was simply how we have trading now, like very static. You bring this from here to there, but those games were single player. So yeah. I lost my train of thought, actually. I don't know where I was going with that. I had 3 hours of sleep last night. I have my other game, my guilty pleasure game that I've been playing.
What is that?
It's called Eco. It looks like
Okay.
Minecraft.
Okay.
And we have like our own server, tons of crafting. This is where I get my crafting fix. And like we do it. We
like
do
a crafting addict. I need my fix.
Yeah. We mod it, and like, I'm not gonna say anything about it because chat's gonna make fun of me because I'm obsessed with this game. But I might have been up until 3 o'clock in the morning playing that, and then up at 6 a.m. today for stream. So yeah,
you should stream it every day.
I do, but then nobody watches it. Right? Like Twitch is brutal. But the thing is I can I can watch videos, random videos. Doesn't even have to be Star Citizen ones. People enjoy that. So you've been streaming a bit. What do you?
Yeah.
Do you
So
like it?
total kind of what like I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis in just content creation because like I'm like I'm tired of speaking to myself without chat. Like I want to just stream and upload stuff. I've done so much streaming. I used to I had a contract with Facebook where I streamed for like 2 years or something.
Yeah.
And actually, it was kind of a really weird thing. But the thing I did love about it was like the people that I met on a daily basis. It was just like playing games with friends. And like
Yes.
I have ADHD, and one of the really nice thing is just like having conversation and playing video games. It's kind of the similar thing of listening to a podcast. And I just love playing games with chat. I kind of don't, I think someone asked earlier in the chat, I don't really play games on my own without recording or streaming because I don't enjoy it as much. Like for me, the enjoyment is like with friends or with chat. I just enjoy it a lot. So
I've had the same
yeah,
experience. I have a hard time playing alone.
Yeah.
Like
So I like just
alone, not on
enjoying
stream.
Twitch. Yeah. Because also it feels like work, right? I mean, I'm sure you have this, like you have your office. I don't want to sit at my desk working when I'm meant to be relaxing. You know, it's kind of this weird thing. Like I'm working, but also I'm playing video games. So I'm meant to be relaxing, but also it's work, and I'm meant to be taking it seriously. It's a weird content creation is weird, guys. Don't do it.
It is. But the thing about streaming for me, and it's what I started with, and I it's my main focus. It has never felt like work.
Yeah.
YouTube feels
Oh,
like
you
work
recently
to me.
started full time, right?
Yeah.
Are
I
you
think
enjoying
3
it?
months ago. Yes. What I'm not enjoying is I feel like I never am doing enough. Like I worked, graveyard shifts, and then came to stream after work and stuff, and I was sleeping maybe 4 hours, 5 hours a day, and doing this for years and years and years. And then when I relax, or I haven't uploaded very much on YouTube aside from like the normal videos that I've been doing. I wanted to do more. That was the idea of going full time, and the fact that I'm not doing more bothers me.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the thing is, you got to be careful with burnout though, because it just stifles creativity, and that's what I've been finding. Like with 318, especially, like I would be recording for like 4 hours for a 10-minute video, and then I'd have to edit it and listen to myself for 4 hours, and like it's just so draining. Like it's time. YouTube is time consuming, and like there's just not enough hours in the day. I recently got an editor who you're familiar with, Young Jack, who's been awesome. And that's been really helpful in like helping burnout and stuff. So
Jack's awesome. Jack's a great kid.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. For those of you guys that don't know, Jack is actually Darklaw's son. So it's like this whole Star Citizen community thing. It was very cool. And I found Jack through a tweet, and Jack found you through a tweet, and all that stuff. So it's awesome. It's a feel good story for sure. But yeah, like for me though, streaming is so weird to me because it doesn't it is work, but it doesn't feel like it. So when I stream longer than I should because I should go make a YouTube video or something, that's when I feel like bad. I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. But I had a great time, and we were having fun and whatever, right? Like but that's the thing for me. And like, do you still feel like, I think you said that you felt like it was work, but I want to like clarify it more. Do you like streaming more because it's different and it's exciting and new and feel less like work? Yeah.
I much enjoy like streaming. I'd rather stream for 2 hours than record videos for 2 hours on my own because it's just a bit more enjoyable. And also, I think there's aspects of recording where I'll do something and it's really stupid. Whereas if I had chat with me, they would have stopped me doing the stupid thing, and I wouldn't have to upload it and then have everyone moaning that I did the wrong thing. So I'm trying to. The thing is, I don't know your perspective on this, but I love obviously streaming with like face cam. But
Yes.
I feel like for Star Citizen videos, I don't think Facecam works. So I'm trying to figure out how can I stream with Facecam, make videos, but then remove the Facecam.
Do you have, how do you record? OBS?
OBS, just
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have are you a dual PC
I
setup?
do have two computers, but I
Oh,
just feel like it's so wasteful
simple.
to use two.
No. This is,
Mm.
it's so
We'll
simple.
talk later. I feel like no
Yeah.
one in chat. Yeah.
No, I talk to him about it all the time. It's totally fine. And this could help too. Is NVIDIA Shadowplay. So you record your game in NVIDIA Shadowplay. I do it while I'm streaming. So I'm playing the game. My gaming computer only plays the game. My streaming computer only does the streaming and record. Like I'm recording this on the streaming PC, but
Okay.
I also am just recording NVIDIA Shadowplay, and it just has the game. That's it. And I agree with you. I think Star Citizen is very much, it's a first-person game. It's like DayZ. It's like Rust.
It's very immersive, right?
You're not, yeah, it's very immersive. You're not supposed to have the camera on. It's great for streaming because when you're streaming, you want to talk to people. They want to see your reaction and stuff like that. But for a YouTube video, I totally think you should have cam off too. 100%.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. And then I still edit on my streaming PC too. So I just move it over with like Google Drive.
Genius.
Yeah. Yep.
I've tried various things, and like what I want is just one PC, and then because I found like a plugin for OBS where it can record like a source.
Yep.
But the problem is, and I hate it so much, Twitch only allows certain amount of bitrate, and it looks terrible, and like it's disgusting, and it just makes me so angry. But the thing is, if you're streaming and recording at the same bitrate, there's no performance hit because it's transcoding the same thing.
Yep.
But as soon as you add a different bitrate,
which is what's happening to me right now
explodes.
It's what's happening to me right now for some reason. But this, I've never had this problem. Twitch chat, if you guys are still like, I hope you're not having too many issues, but I've never seen this many errors. I've been doing this podcast for years and I've never seen this. So yeah, but there's also an OBS Streamlabs OBS that does it like really well, but Streamlabs OBS is trash for streaming.
Oh,
so it just sucks.
Rip.
It doesn't have all the good plugins and everything. But yeah, I mean, to get back on Star Citizen, because we
talking shop, it's hard.
I think that there are a lot of aspiring creators that listen to other creators too. So I always think it's useful to talk about it because they might learn something. I just, a lot of the staple names in the Star Citizen like streaming space, because I started so early, were viewers back then, and then they were like, "Oh, this looks so fun," and then they did it themselves, and now they're like regulars and a lot of the people that these guys know today. You know, and so I always think it's okay when I get a creator on to talk a little bit about it, just because it's something everybody enjoys now, you know.
The thing with Star Citizen though, I'd love to stream it all the time, but I don't know if I have the patience to stream it all the time. I don't know if I could stream Star Citizen every day.
That's why I talk about it more than play it a lot more lately. It's the way I've found a way to survive. And
I'd love to.
It's hard. It's really hard. You can do it, but you can't set a goal. Like the game has to be the background to the conversation in chat.
Yeah.
The chat, like you're not actually streaming Star Citizen, right? It is the way that I try to look at it. It's just the conversation now, because you can sometimes, but it's very hard to do it.
I feel like if you're in a big org, maybe, or pirating, like there's less risk of things breaking.
And if they do, somebody can get you up. The thing is group play. There is less risk in some things, but it just seems like the bugs ramp like insanely sometimes.
I think I did a video of like, I wanted to get a really cool video of like 25, 50 Furies like attacking in Idris. I streamed that, and we spent 2 hours setting up the Fury army and then 25 minutes trying to do the thing. And it was just like the journey was fun, and it was cool when we all landed on Hurston, all trying to get Furies into the C2s. That was awesome, but like Yeah, there was so many people coming into the Discord like, "Hey, I can't get into your server," or like, "How do I join?" And it was just like really hard work. Not for me because I had people that were helping me, but it was just like it's like a whole like they need to refine the org in-game org stuff. I feel like that needs to happen maybe
So,
before server meshing
oh yeah.
because server meshing is great, but like if it's going to be difficult to get in game and get people organized and menus.
I think they need the server. Sadly, on a priority level, from a
Mm-hmm.
player, you're right. But think about it this way: is in order to like a party marker will act differently now than it does with server meshing.
Mm.
So they have to put it in, but that's why we have. That's still why we have nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Is because they have to put this stuff in for things to work the way that they're supposed to. I remember it was server side object container streaming or object container streaming. They had to redo everything because everything acted differently. PES, everything, it's like the same concept over and over again. So that's why they don't want to do much. And it's so frustrating sometimes because
Yeah.
they know they're just gonna run into a billion problems after. So they might as
Redoing
well
it.
build it with that. Like somebody said, Jesus Tech in chat. It's not that. It's just Star Citizen is a sandbox, but there's no foundation. There's no walls of the sandbox to keep the sand in. It's just all falling out, right? In so many ways.
Yeah.
So sometimes it
Do you
feels like
think
there's
that we'll
no
get?
sand.
So I don't know. I'm not meant to steer this podcast, I guess, but I'm curious what your
I'd
thoughts
say
are on Pyro and server meshing. Like, is that soon?
ooh, I think we'll see it at CitizenCon for the fourth year in a row, but I don't think it's soon.
No. Okay.
No, like
I
look at where we are with PES. Like they did say that it was a big piece of that puzzle, right? But it's still it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing yet. So I will begin to be excited or start feeling like server meshing is a thing when we are like let's say you and I want to play together. All right, what server do you play on? Oh, I play on US server 100. Oh, you play on EU server 100? Okay, I'll join on you. Oh, there's a queue. Okay, maybe it'll be like 10 minutes and then we play. When we start to have that and we have like persistent servers and
Oh yeah, I want that
PES
so
is
bad.
yeah, like when PES is more solid,
Mm.
that's when I think we can start thinking about server meshing because I think
Yeah.
all the people that are doing server meshing are still the same people that are like putting out the fires, that are still very
Yeah.
well lit right now, unfortunately. So for me, I don't think it's very close. How
Mm.
did you feel until a minute ago? Were you feeling
Well,
like it was close?
I felt like okay, so my expectation for the end of the year as a content creator, because I kind of think about this stuff, is like, okay, I think we'll get maybe some access to Pyro at the end of the year, and it will be just a separate. You'll go through a gate, and it will just move you onto a different server. I
I would
don't,
love for them to do that,
but
but
on the
why
flip
haven't
side,
they?
I don't think there'll be anything really in Pyro. So at the moment,
Mm.
Stanton has missions and bunkers and things. You'll be able to go to Pyro, but there won't be
Yeah,
anything
just
really. Yeah,
screenshot or whatever,
yeah.
right? Check it out.
And to be honest, I'm fine with that as long as things are coming, you know. For me personally, as a content creator, selfishly, it'd be great if they did that and then they kept adding to it because, hey, that's 12 months of content that I've got to cover and stuff like that. But as a player, kind of want them to wait until it's done because if I go to Pyro and there's nothing there, I've kind of had that experience and it was like half empty because there wasn't anything to go and see.
Yep,
And like it's less impressive the second time you go to Pyro. But as a
100%.
content creator, bring out Pyro, bring out point updates, let me make those videos and like it's fun to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, as a player, I'd kind of want them to wait as long as possible.
Yeah, like as a player, I've always called for something like I wish 318 was the cargo patch, and it
Hmm.
was like, all right, we got PES, and it was obviously a disaster, but the the goal would be to go, all right, this is the cargo patch, tractor beams, cargo refactor, freight elevators. The whole company is focused on this one thing. 319 is the mining patch. So economy update. We can actually take the bags off and sell them, things like some of the missing pieces, right? That you were like, oh, I wonder, and then you did it and it didn't happen, and you were just like, they got me again. I was so excited, but they got me again. That's what I would love to see.
Yeah.
And then 4.0 would be the Pyro patch, which is whatever special is about Pyro, that solar flare thing, or whatever.
I think it's really interesting them experimenting with like storms and stuff and like no fly zones. I think that's really exciting, and that would actually give a lot of gameplay to like the ground vehicles, which at the moment kind of don't really have much gameplay, unfortunately. Like as cool as they are, the gameplay is just not there. But I'd be really interested to see like, okay, you can fly into your ship to this point. Your objective is here. The only way you're going to get from there to there is either walk, and it's going to take you 4 hours, or you can get the buggy and like drive.
Yeah,
that to me is exciting.
The most frustrating thing for me about the game is when you're out of your ship or you're in a ground vehicle and a ship comes by and just nose down kills you, right? So like the idea of we all have, right? And the idea of a no fly zone or anything to change the dynamic of that situation just a little bit is something I yearn for, because Jumptown, Ghost Hollow, any of the drug labs and places to sell, you get these like heart-pounding moments sometimes, and then you just die to a situation like there's no way I can win in this spot. And it's just like, dang.
Like it's too one-sided. Yeah. I'll be really honest, it might upset people at CIG, but I've tried. I just don't enjoy the Jumptown gameplay. Just the way it is right now, because I don't think there's enough money in it. Like, and at the moment, like if there was, if I could earn 1 million credits on a box or something, yeah, I'm going to go and build up an org and we're going to fight over it. But at the moment, like to get really interesting money for a group of players, you're there all day, or it I feel like they need to like double down on like this is actually like really valuable to make people interested in it. Like that's just how I feel. It's just the frustration of getting shot. I want to see them be one SU boxes. And I think that like they don't even have to come out as fast. It's not it's like you said, it's like the one box being more valuable, I think is more important. And for me, it doesn't even have to come out as fast. You just have to time everything, right? And to get out in time. Yeah. For me, I don't like it to be about money. It's okay. I don't like it to be about money, but it's unfortunate that that's all we have. Like I just can't wait for what is Maze and why. Obviously it's a drug, so it's a little bit different. But what if it was a really important thing, or a commodity to make something, and then it's worth fighting over, because it's not about, oh, I didn't, a lot of people do I did UEC per hour. Well, I can just go do bunkers, or I can go do X and not do this. Like for me, Jumptown is special because I love interacting with other players in any way, shape, or form, and VoIP like to death. I just want to, whether we're yelling at each other or like, hey, you want to group up, whatever it ends up being. That's what Jumptown is to me, and that's why I like it. Jumptown is too polite, man. It annoys me so much. I hate going to Jumptown and seeing a queue of people. It's the most painful thing. It's like, this is not what they wanted. They wanted you to fight. Why are we stood in a line? Stop queuing. It's too British.
That's my favorite thing, because then they get comfortable.
Yeah,
like when it
A1
first
comes by.
Well, that
A2, sorry. Yeah.
Before, I think it was there a JT? There was a JT before the A2 existed. I think there was, and
it was a better time.
It was a better time, because when nobody knew and everybody was so ignorant, they would just leave their doors open and they would fill their ships. and you would just wait for the moment. You would just take their ship and steal it, right? That was like my favorite thing to do, was sneak on people's ships and steal them and stuff. Yeah, but I do find it interesting that why you don't like JT as much, but I don't think it would upset anybody. Everybody has their own style of gameplay. Like what do you do the most? Do you cargo haul the most? You said you like that, but
I think actually like if I wasn't making videos, I'd probably just be mining, trying to scale up my ship fleet in game. Honestly, I'd be doing what I said earlier, like high risk quantum mining or something, because it's at the timer when you collect the quantum is exciting to me, and someone could turn up. Like that's adrenaline when you've got a whole ship full of quantum, and then suddenly your engine breaks or something like that, and you're trying to make it back to be able to store it. Like I love that gameplay. I guess I'm just driven in Star Citizen by money, so
that's fair.
And buying the bigger ships, I think, is exciting. Like I made a video where I bought. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but there was a phase where everyone just kept sending me in-game money because there was a duplication glitch.
Sure.
And I just
I have 53
I earned so
million
much
credits right now.
I earned so much money, like the data point wouldn't go up anymore. So like I earned the cap in Star Citizen, because people told me like that's the amount of data value of that, like how much you can have in that thing. Anyway, so like I went and bought a jump, obviously in game when it was super cool, and it was just like, that's what I would work up to if I wasn't making content. It's like I want to build out my fleet. One day I want to make my base and like hang up pictures, and I'm gonna upgrade my turrets because people keep dropping bombs on me, like that stuff. One day
I mean,
cool.
I talk about that stuff a lot, and that's still my, I guess, where my saltiness comes from is I don't think they expected for the game to take this long, and I don't think they expected to need to sell ships for this long. And I do think it's had like a negative effect on the game in that way of, okay, well, because think about it now, is let's say you went and you mine, like you never made YouTube videos, and you just like enjoyed the game and you mine all day every day, and now you have millions and millions of credits and you have all the ships. Like, what do you do now? Right?
Well, nothing. I've reached the end, haven't I?
Exactly. But in a game like this, they're not supposed to have an end.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I feel like they need to add like apartments or something, like you can only buy in game. I feel like the game needs in-game only stuff. I know obviously they make so much money from ships, but like what if there was a ship that was just really expensive that you could only buy in game? Then you'd have to play the game.
Exactly. Talk to me a little bit about your gaming background. I in my research, there was a lot of GTA there. Like GTA RP and things like that. Like those games don't necessarily end, right? You just kind of you keep playing. Maybe you get bored, but do you have you played MMOs like WoW or any?
Not really, honestly. Okay. The sort of games I've played are I'm gonna sound really greedy now, but like when I was younger, I used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 all of the time, and I used to play Age of Empires 2.
Yep.
And the end goal was always build the massive park with a load of money, or build the biggest army with the biggest walls, and like that is just like any game I want to max out and just earn the most money. And it's like, oh look, I built a big park. All right. So like in Star Citizen, it just translates. I want to, build a big pool, like a base, and I want a big ship, and I just want to feel like I've accomplished, in game.
Interesting. I think we can really dive into this. You can't. You won't in this game.
I will, because I will figure it out, Mike. I will come up with a plan.
Okay, you might, like there might be a way, but if all goes to plan, without a huge like org or a big group, you can't accomplish it all. You need other people, right? Like that's what's different about this. As long as there's so like, is that something that when the game is out and it is super like way less painful to do these things, is that where your goals are, right? Because that's what that's where MMOs end up being, is like you might start out solo, you might level solo, and then you are like, all right, now what do I do? And then usually the
Hmm.
next thing you do is you end up in a guild of some kind, and whether it's PvP or PvE,
I mean, I'm
whatever.
very, very fortunate that I can get, a
Yeah.
guild squad filled up.
Yeah.
And like to me, that is the ultimate goal. Like maybe I'm gonna run a cargo guild where we just run cargo and like it all funnels to me and we build a big gold pyramid. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Where would you build
Yeah.
it? Obviously, we
Uh,
don't have a lot to go on with like what certain planets look like. So let's just stick with the stand system. What is
okay,
your
easy
favorite
Daymar for
location?
like
I'm
Daymar
stupid. I'm
easy.
looking at the screen. I just yeah, obviously, Daymar.
Like it would be so in any other system would be whichever looks better in a thumbnail. Quite honestly.
You have
So blue
YouTuber brain.
sky, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like I can build a nice base that looks great in a thumbnail and it's gonna do really well. No
For
one's gonna do it on yellow. That was a bad example, but like,
I
you know
mean,
what I
yellow's
mean?
pretty ugly in comparison to a lot of the things that we have
Hmm.
now. I love Daymar. What do you love Daymar for I guess it's the contrast or whatever, but there's
Yeah, I
something
guess
special
so.
about Daymar. It's so dead.
It's the Tatooine vibe for me.
It's so sci-fi immersive.
Yeah,
It's one
yeah.
of the ones that grounds me the most, that makes me feel like I'm actually there. Where a lot of them are
Hmm.
maybe a little bit too weird. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most Earth-like,
definitely.
I think,
I
is
feel
what
like
it
it's
is.
the most like it's got blue sky. It kind of doesn't look like it would kill you being there, and it's kind of like for me, like Tatooine vibes. It kind of makes me feel like I can imagine a civilization living on this planet or this moon, for example, with Daymar. Like I can see a settlement there. I can see that
Yes.
happening. Microtech's another good example, but it's too
Yeah.
cold in Microtech. No one's
Yeah.
living there.
Why would I want to go outside there? I guess Daymar, the heat doesn't translate the same way that like the snow and the cold on Microtech does. So I
Yeah.
like, why would I want to go? I moved from New Jersey to Florida because I don't want to have a winter ever. I will get hit
Yeah,
with
yeah.
hurricanes to not have a winter. I don't want to
I
go to
tell you
Microtech.
what, if Daymar was like, oh, what is the moon around Hurston that's like orange?
Magda?
Yeah, so if it was like that temperature wise, I'd hate Daymar because
Yeah.
I don't. The thing with Daymar, it's fairly easy
Oh,
to be
that's
there.
Ariel, the really hot one. Ariel or
Oh yeah,
Aberdeen.
yeah,
Those are
Eric.
super hot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So like, I really like the fact it's not going to hurt you. If you wear a basic suit, you're going to be more or less fine. It looks pleasant. It just looks like a nice, beach type thing. It just looks nice and sandy and relaxing. Like it's chill vibes in Daymar.
Yeah, Daymar's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I I always used to rock mine. So Ariel, even though it's just like acid, disgusting. I've always liked that because I spent a lot of time there. I guess if
Yeah, I don't like playing the game in those environments. I'm a
yeah,
little worried I'm not going to enjoy Pyro as much because it's like it's not meant to be
hostile.
pleasant.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to check out anyway.
I mean, I think visually it's gonna look insane. Even from, I think was it last year's? Yeah, I think it was last year's sitcom, right? Just seeing the
Oh yeah, that's
the
my new favorite with the yellow grass and the blue
yeah,
sky with the clouds. Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's the new favorite. That's my new Daymar.
There you go.
Settlements go in there. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I'm. That's my dream. I've been doing. Have you done like any Zero to Hero or any of those kind of things?
The game is not forgiving enough for Zero to
Yeah,
Hero. I don't know how
I
people
hate
do
it.
it.
It drives me nuts. Right,
I'd
but
love to. I actually, I'm going to share this idea with chat and someone's going to steal it, and that's cool. But I came up with this idea. I buy an account, and if I die, I delete the account. Like, that's it.
That's
So, like,
hardcore. Yeah.
Olli43 Jr., and then if he dies,
Well, you
that's
can't
it.
call him Junior
Or
because now you're
whatever,
killing children, Ollie. Okay.
Okay, all right, fine. We won't be doing that. It will be uh, Elliot. We'll call it Elliot, okay?
Yes. Yes.
And then if Elliot
Perfect.
dies, then that's it. No more
Then the
Elliot.
game ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the game's
Yeah.
over. What are we gonna do? Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
then it'll be a new series. I think that would be kind of cool for content. But again,
If you die
I've
to a bug, you
died.
can't count.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
You can let the commenters vote. Like, does this one count? and they'll just be
Yeah.
like, no, keep going, more videos, more videos. But yeah, I was thinking of I wanted to do a 0 to hero, and I decided this was the dumbest idea of all time, was that my ship was my inventory. That's it. I couldn't use local inventories, so I had to keep everything with me. And I
Oh,
was
interesting.
thinking, yeah, and I was thinking it was good because it would cause me to like corpse run to get my stuff back. But I thought it was also going to make me want to like gather more. And then I realized that it doesn't, because if I die, I lose everything. And right? So,
Honestly, the biggest. I'm totally going to interrupt you, but my biggest
yeah.
problem with Star Citizen right now is the most annoying bug is when you die and you phase through the planet and you
Yep.
lose all your stuff and the marker is still there. It's the most annoying
Because you spent
problem.
all the time going back and then your body
Yeah.
wasn't there. And you were like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. I had a bug
Ah,
where my marker was in the sky and I think it was putting my body in the sky and then it falls and it falls through. And if I leave and come back, it's back in the sky. And I was trying to get a Pisces to like catch my body. And I spent 20 minutes going back to like OM markers.
oh my
This
God.
game.
Yes, it will drive us mad. It will. But yeah, I mean, so I was thinking of maybe changing it a little bit and saying, okay, I can just use one outpost because I just want a home. Like you were mentioning, like
Yeah.
apartments earlier. Even something like that is like, this is where I store all my stuff. This is where I show off all my stuff, and then I go out in the world and explore and play and do whatever I'm gonna do that day.
The
But
game needs markers. Like, why, if I can start a box mission and have a marker on a box, why can't I just have a double flop, whatever, and just drop it on the ground and then the marker's on the ground forever? Why is that not in the game?
we have PES now. That's where I was starting to be. Okay, we don't have persistence. We don't have whatever excuse you want to make. The excuses are gone for something like that now. Like
Yeah.
you just apply it to an item, and that item is that thing.
I would be so happy if I could do that. Because imagine you could theoretically have a base, at least in a session.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't want to have to, I'll go to OM5 or like a QT marker and then go 100 kilometers in that direction. I don't want to have to do that. I just
No.
want a play, like, it just be so much better.
Yeah. And like a player can be that. Why can't an item be that? It's like they treat everything differently. I don't know what it is behind the scenes, but it is so frustrating from a player perspective. Do you know what I did one day? And since you like mining, if you haven't done this yet, it's really fun, and it's a really, I wanted to make it a video, but I couldn't make it good enough. So I will give you what I think is a very good video idea, and I think that
Okay. Coming to a YouTube video near
and I
you.
think it's a perfect YouTube video for you, because I think it'll be
Mhm.
much better because you have a more like bubbly personality for something like this. I go in mine, and I'm in a
Mhm.
prospector, and you can't mine
Okay.
everything in a prospector, right? And it can be
Nope.
really annoying when you come across a huge quantanium rock that you can't mine. So
True.
before I went prospector mining, I gathered up 6. They have to be single box, individual delivery missions. Threw them in my
Mhm.
prospector. When I came across a rock that's really valuable that I can't mine, drop the box. And then I
Yeah.
go out and look for some more. As I'm looking, I'm spamming Genshot. Does anybody want? Is there any mole crew out there that wants a really valuable rock?
Mhm.
100K. That's it. There's a million credits in this rock. 100K. And I
Yeah.
did it once, and it was fun. It was like you were spamming Genshot a lot, and it was like really annoying. But somebody grabbed it, offered me
Took it.
400K for the rock, and I was like, no, that's too much. What if you can't break it? You seem like a noob. And I was like, I'll take 100K, and I did it. And it was just like a really wholesome, really, really awesome experience.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
I couldn't like
You like
figure out how
made
to
your
turn
own
it into a
salvage
video.
contract.
Exactly. I made my own mission for people, and I made the prospector who was nerfed no longer nerfed. You know what I mean?
I mean, but you could do that in any ship. Like, you could just go out in like a Pisces, just
Very
scanning
true.
rocks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But with the prospector, it's like, yeah, I couldn't break it, but at least I got a piece of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
I loved
I
it.
like that.
I want to do more of it, but I keep forgetting actually.
I just
I'm very disappointed with mining right now.
Really?
Very disappointed. Yes.
What?
You know
I
the
thought you were
instability
really
bug?
positive. I thought everyone was positive about the mining changes.
On
Now it's
paper.
180'd?
On paper. I love it.
Okay.
Have you experienced the instability bug?
What? Where it
Have
just
you ever
is...
have you
Go
ever
on.
mined a rock where you absolutely think you should be able to break it and just nothing happens?
Yeah.
That's the
I just put
instability
it down
bug.
to the... Okay, I just put it down to the fact I don't know what I'm doing.
No. It's not that at all. It's the game being super weird and them not communicating to you what's happening, right? So I don't know when, but they're aware of it, and I don't know when they're going to have time to change these things. But it is so frustrating. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
we were talking about Jack earlier. Jack had to edit a video with me and the prospector where I found a rock that was pretty beefy, and I was so determined. I was like, I put the surge modules, I put the gadget. I'm like, getting into this big meaty rock, and then it just stopped working. And I spent so long retrying.
Yep.
And I was just like, I don't understand. And I'm talking to Jack in my recording. I'm like, Jack, I don't know what's going on here, but I've started half the video. I want to break this rock. And eventually I had to give up because it just wasn't working. But I guess that's what you're saying. That was a bug.
Yeah. I don't know the exact details. I know more than most people because I have talked to them about it specifically. But I think what it is instability goes, okay, your laser power is getting stronger, your laser power is getting lighter, and it's just random, and it goes like this. And sometimes it goes like that and just knocks you down. And I believe that if you just sit there and maybe move around a little bit occasionally and just sit there, it could take hours, but eventually the RNG would just work in your favor. Like that's literally all it is that RNG is not working.
So you just had some bad rolls over and over again. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I think it is. They know more, but I think that that's basically what it is. And some people are like, "Ooh, there's a weak spot." There's no such thing as a weak spot. That is not a thing.
That's what I was doing. I was flying around my prospector like, Jack, I'm going to find this weak spot again. I had it. It was working.
It's not a thing. It's if you're not moving. Now, this is what it used to be. I don't know if it changed, but mining, as far as I know, the actual active mining has not changed at all. If you're moving, your instability is higher. The game doesn't communicate that to you on your screen.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know to what value, but if you're moving your laser around, your instability goes up. Like I said, sometimes you get the RNG roll in your favor, and you're like, "Oh, I hit the weak spot." No, you didn't. It just instability worked in your favor. If you stand still, your instability goes down, and things should be more stable. So you should never
has the weak
want
spot
to move.
Ever been a thing?
Maybe, because years ago I was able to get like the game files. Like, you know, some like Urkel.games or whatever, like that. That's how they get that information. I had it one time and I was reading through them and there was literally a weak spot value.
Okay.
But
it's like a myth of Star Citizen. There's a weak spot in the rocks. I love that.
Yeah.
It's like there's tales of weak spots in rocks, but actually, no, they took that out in the code like 8 months ago.
Yeah, but
I love that.
It is not a thing. I know. It is not a thing. But it is that's why I don't mine as much anymore. I was so looking forward to just mining every day and challenging myself at like a more difficult rock. And then I got into a prospector and broke like a 20K mass Quantanium rock that I had no business breaking just because I got lucky. And then a 10K mass rock, I was breaking it 1 minute and then I wasn't the next. And I'm just like, what is happening? I'm so confused. It's just so confusing.
Have you heard of the all green mining mole?
I have
It's beautiful.
It's a sort of long story because it's a PES story too. It's the only time I ever really experienced PES. We find 130K mass, 30% Quantanium rock. Like this is the rock, right? So we're freaking out. It's 130K mass. It's going to be so hard to break. We get a crew, 4 fully crewed moles.
Wow.
Right?
That's
we're ready to go. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
we to shorten the story as much as possible, the green zone was very low. There's a value that determines where it is. Is it all the way towards the top, or is it really low? It's really low, and I didn't think of it at the time. Our first mole is the green zone mole. So we're like, all right, make the green zone as big as possible, so because it was very unstable too. They hit the rock, it hits the bottom. So one mole could break that rock because of where the green zone was. Yeah, and it was just 2 lasers that were on, I think, because it just made it big enough that it hit the bottom. So they broke it with 0 power into the rock, or minimum power, and 130k master rock breaks, 30k right after. All of us.
That's because like CIG were watching. You're like, no, Mike, you're not doing that with 2 lasers. Yeah. No, that's wrong.
So 30K. It's a sponsored stream, so I have to do like this sponsored segment. I think it was like Manscaped or something, right? So that was going to be like 30 minutes. So a guy I play with like almost every day, PC 101, who's like really knowledgeable about the game, goes, the servers take like 30 minutes to come up. So if we all just don't join any servers and we sit and we wait, when the server spools back up, the game's going to put us back in there. Maybe everything will be there. We waited after the sponsor segment was over. We join in, and it was right near an outpost. So we fly to it. Every rock was in the same position. The gadget was on the ground that we used. Everything was there. Our ships were there. We get a bunch of small ships, get into the moles. We scoop it all up and sold it.
Oh, happy ending. Awesome.
Exactly. A 30K with a happy ending. And this was before 30K recovery and everything. 30K recovery, that'll never happen again. Think about that. Those ships get sent back to your hangar.
That's crazy.
So it works against PES in a weird way.
I don't know. I haven't streamed Star Citizen much, so I haven't had the opportunity to ask chat like off questions like this. But I've had a few times where I've crashed in 30K and I've spawned back in standing exactly where I stood. Is that meant to happen?
Yes. So a 30K isn't always, in a weird way, yes, I should say. A 30K doesn't always mean that the server crashed. It just is a blanket statement that you disconnected from the server. So sometimes you disconnect from the server because the server crashed. Sometimes you disconnected from the server because of reasons. Yeah. And sometimes you get a crashed client, but sometimes it's this. So sometimes you have a 30K, you join back in. The server was up the whole time, so you end up back in there. So it's like a random lucky experience.
I love it when that happens. I wish so much. The game would be so much easier to make content for if I didn't spawn back at Habs every time I turn the game on. I'm so desperate. Elliot, please talk to someone.
He doesn't do that. Okay. I know. He's the mission guy.
I know.
When you were around for the letter for the chairman when they started talking about like, hey, this is persistence. We tried it, and these are all our plans in the near future, right? And the first thing I thought of when they shared the story was like we crashed a server, and then we got back in a ship and everything was still there. And I'm like, why did you have to get back? That's not how this works. Like every MMO, every game I've ever played, if I log out, I'm back where I logged out, or I was killed.
I don't understand that.
And that's a different story. I don't understand that one either. Is why is a ship treated so special, but me, the most important thing in the game?
I'm the player. I'm priority. Leave me in the server.
Yeah,
you're right. But I guess it would be difficult because, like, if you're walking around, say Daymar, and you log out, well, your ship would stay there and people could shoot it and it would explode. But I mean, as a player, what do? Did they just take you out and then put you back in? Because suddenly you run into situations where, if someone's shooting you in a bunker, or you're like, oh damn, someone's gonna come in and shoot me, I can just Alt F4 and then come back 10 minutes later when they've got bored and left. So it's tricky. I don't know what the solution is. I don't envy the people that have to figure that out.
When you bedlog your ships out, so it's kind of a similar situation.
I mean, sometimes I'm on Daymar and I don't like. I just wish I could just log out and come back.
Same.
But maybe it should be like you can't do it in armistice zones. So like if I'm out in the middle of Daymar and I log out and I come back, that's fine.
I think so too, because in an armistice zone you could be like logging in on top of somebody, and it would just be super weird, right?
Yeah.
And the likelihood of that happening elsewhere is so low.
Or camping beds. We've seen them in videos. Just let me bed log in a camping bed.
What do you mean by a camping bed?
But so you say that I can bed log, right?
Sure.
But what if I just had in my rucksack
like
a bed
Rust.
I could unfold? Yeah. What if I go to put a bed on the floor and just log out here?
Why not? And yeah, and just like have a tent, like something that can shield you from the elements.
Mm-hmm.
And then if a player comes by that, they could shoot it.
Yeah. But then again, you always want to get back in the same server. We need to serve a browser as well. And then we're just doing this thing, Mike, of like, yeah, we can't do any of that until we have a server browser.
Yeah. I've been doing that for so long, of just like, I would love to make this video. I would love to do this thing. And then I psych myself out from it. Because we can't.
Yeah.
You can, but you have to fake some things. I don't want to fake anything. Right?
No.
You know? It's just like but I don't know. I feel like it's been about an hour, right? Yeah. So it's been over an hour. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I've been having a good time. I didn't realize the time, but I don't want to keep you too long. Do you have anything going on or anything special that you might have coming up that people might be super excited about?
I mean, really, I'm excited for the whole C. That's like a big content thing I'm looking forward to. But for the guys in chat, I guess support my Twitch, because I'm new to Twitch and I don't know what I'm doing on Twitch. I only recently learned what a raid is. No, I'm joking. So I'm doing that. But as you say earlier, like, it's hard to do variety, right? So I'm going to try and do a little bit of variety over the next couple of months and just see how it goes. Do you have a
Twitch schedule? Or it's kind of like when you're feeling it?
So I'm going to try and do it around the time we jumped on today. So
okay. Is it the
Monday
same name? Exactly?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We could do an easy shout out here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
And then everybody can go and support just by clicking that in the chat. Super easy. And then if you're watching on YouTube, the link will obviously be in the description. But yeah, we didn't really get to talk much about like you two personally. So I was going to say, like, what's it like being a new father? We're not going to be having kids. So I don't know. What's it like doing gaming and being a dad and all that stuff?
So the first form, like, my son James did not like sleep at all.
Yeah.
Some people get the sleep lottery. I was not one of these people.
Yeah.
And people do enjoy, positive Ollie. I don't like sleep deprived Ollie. So it was interesting trying to, like, I want to be making good videos. I don't want to be complaining about having no sleep. So it was a real challenge. But, he's 9 months old today, which is kind of cool. But so we're kind of past that, which is good. But it's amazing. It's hard work. But yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't think I could. And you know what's really funny is when I was working at the casino job and doing this, I think that's also where the SaltEMike kind of came from, is just
it's
how
hard.
when you're sleep deprived, how can you be happy? It's so hard. It's very difficult to be happy. I think small stresses are larger stresses and all that stuff. But
super patience with the world is like
none.
Yeah.
Somebody says something snarky in Twitch chat and I just would snap, but I guess we're having so many problems on Twitch now. I hope the recording is good. I'm so worried at this point, but after all this time, some stupid computer problem might get us, but I hope not. I guess we should leave it here, but I really appreciate you coming on, and it was a really easy and enjoyable conversation.
I feel like we could talk about Star Citizen for like 5 hours. I'm not gonna lie.
Easily, and I mean, I just appreciate you're really nice guy, and I think it's super important. A lot of people in my community are less enthusiastic about the state of Star Citizen, and we'll look at the guys that make the more positive content and look down upon them. And then I think it's very simple having a conversation with anybody that we're all in the same boat. We're all just as frustrated as the next person. And it was just super clear and obvious here is like, we're all Star Citizens, and it's not this like battle that some people like to have. And that's why I like to bring on as many people as I can. And
we're all in the same boat. We all want Star Citizen to be good, right? It just
Yeah.
have different ways of looking at it, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly. Even people that are very vocally not supporting Star Citizen are still talking about it because they want it to be good.
Mhm.
You know?
Exactly. You love it, really, is my attitude.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I wouldn't be here if I didn't. I would
Exactly.
be playing Eco every day, or Stellaris, or whatever my other like favorite games are, right? So yeah, there's no way. But all right, Olli, I guess we'll leave you there, and thank you so much again for coming on. And
Thanks for having me, chat,
yeah.
and you. No, that's awesome.
Olli43 everywhere. If you guys haven't checked out his videos, and now especially his streams, because he's starting to do that a lot more. And thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it, man.
Cool.
I'll let you go, and we'll say goodbye to all these fine people and do the stupid YouTube thing of the like and subscribe stuff.
Oh, you love it.
Yeah, I can't stand that at the end. I'm so bad at it. All right, Olli, we'll check you later. And yeah, I'll give you some. There was something we need to sneakily talk about off stream. Oh, the recording thing. I'll talk you through it maybe a little bit more if you need some help, because
Cool.
it's
Cheers,
useful.
man.
Better quality too that way. Yeah. All right. Later, dude. So, guys, that's it. That was Olli. That was one of the best conversations I've had on this podcast with anybody. It was really, really, really good. I really hope the recording is okay.